Did you continue to refine your style or pick up any, licks and things as you were playing with some of these guys?
Well, you have to keep learning and trying to add more stuff to your playing. I mean, you always keep adding to it. I think I'm a much better player than I was in those years, honestly. I might have had a little bit more speed and flash, but I think I'm a much better musician. My playing's much better from a musical standpoint now. But if you're going to be a musician, you have to keep adding to your repertoire, and you have to keep learning. And so I don't know what else to say about that. I used to, when I was 21, I used to practice the Bartók and Tchaikovsky violin concertos, the violin parts for guitar. And I would go to the library and get different kinds of 20th century violin music and pieces, to try to learn more and more as I could. Hindemith and Shostakovich, all different kinds of things. And and I try to apply that stuff little by little in my guitar playing. In the recent years, I've written a book. I've written 2 books actually of stuff. They're 2 method books, not just for guitar, but for all instruments. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're called the Serious Jazz Practice Book and the Serious Jazz Harmonic Approach. And they've got tons and tons of stuff. And a lot of it is stuff that I, sort of picked up from, the classical studies and this and that, but they're pretty much the most complete books of method for jazz improvisation that are out there that I've seen.
What inspired you to do that? You just felt that there was a gap out there, or?
Yeah, because there's this book called the Slimimsky Thesaurus of Scales and Patterns. It was famous because Coltrane used to practice out of it, and it's got some stuff, but a lot of the stuff is for piano. And it's in 10 octaves. I heard he wrote it partly as a joke. There's some stuff that's usable, but my stuff is all usable for jazz players. It's like, it's like 200 some pages of just scales and melodic patterns, and then they can be transposed into all different keys. Everything's in C in the book, or just in one key. And there's like 50 pages of diminished stuff, another 40 pages of just chromatic stuff. So it's just a great, you can open it to any page and just say, well, I haven't practiced that today, and there's just tons of stuff there. So I tell students, I say, if you practice out of these books for 20 years or so, you could get pretty good.
What's your main weapon of choice as far as guitar?
I've got 2 Yamahas that are called the Image Custom. It's been out of print for since the early 90s. I think it's the best electric guitar they made, and it's got sort of the best parts of a Les Paul and a Strat. It looks kind of like a Paul Reed Smith, but it's got lights in the fretboard, so you can see where to put your fingers when you're really drunk or it's dark. And it's a great guitar. I have 2 of those, and I just recently got an Eastman 1080 CE, I think it's called. It's a really nice jazz guitar, just one pickup. I hadn't played a really woody jazz guitar for a long time, and I do most of my practicing on this here Yamaha, just a CPX 15 acoustic. It's got heavier strings, so when I play the electric, it's easier.
Now, is this correct? Did you also play with Billy Cobham at some point, or?
Yeah. We did a tour in 1980. Did this Flight Time record. It was a live record. It was with Don Grolnick on piano and Tim Landers on bass. And I'm still in touch with Billy on Facebook. I see him around now and then. I wish he'd use me on his gig, but he's been using this guy Fareed Haq, who's from Chicago. He's a good player.
Yeah. So, is there any drummer faster than him?
Faster? I don't know, because I don't care. Honestly, we recorded this tune of mine on that record Flight Time. It's called Jackhammer. It's kind of a shuffle. And it was funny because it's my tune, but Billy played it so fast I could hardly play it, honestly. It's supposed to be do, but he went it was like, damn. But I don't like to play it that fast. I think I'm one of those guys that feels like that the faster you have to play, the less creative you can be, because the faster the tempo is, the more you have to rely on stuff that's already locked onto your fingers. You don't have time to think or take a chance or you don't have time to that split second of time it takes to think and do something creative rather than do something that's reflexive. You know what I mean? You're just reactive. You know, you're reacting to the tempo. You have to play something fast, so you end up just playing the stuff that's under your fingers, and that's not as satisfying to me as having that just extra little bit of time, you know, to think of something good to play or interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, the speed is entertaining for like a solo, but I mean, I'm a groove guy, you know, so you don't get the good grooves with the super speed.
You know, I mean, Alan Holdsworth, for example. I mean, you know, technically one of the supreme guitar players of all time, but you know, every time he would play, he goes to the same place. You know, he might play a little bit of lyrical stuff, but within 15, 20 seconds of his, any one of his solos, he's already going, you know, and it's just like, I'm sorry, it's just not, that doesn't do it for me, you know. I mean, I love George Benson, you know, he's one of the best at playing really fast, I think, you know. But of course, he doesn't really do it that much because at all his gigs he's singing all the time. But you know, I mean, it's good to have speed, but you don't want to showcase it all the time, you know.
Do you feel like he wasted his gift a little bit during the late 70s and 80s?
Wasted it making millions and millions of dollars? No.
Well,
and he's a great singer too, you know.
He is, but I really missed the guitar for a lot of that time.
One time I was playing at 7th Avenue South, the Breckers Club, you know, in New York, and George was sitting in the front row, and I'm like, oh God, okay. I tried, you know, and you know, I tried to just like, you know, just look at the ceiling, you know, but I actually did play my ass off that night, and afterwards he said, man, just keep playing guitar like that, and you'll have nothing to worry about. Boy, was he wrong.
Well, still nice though.
But he was always really nice. In fact, I met him when I was 18 or 17. Yeah, it was 1971. Yeah, I was 18, or no, I was 9. I just turned 19, 1971, and I went to Berkeley School in Boston for a couple of semesters. And I went down and saw him at the Jazz Workshop, which was the jazz club down there. And I heard his records, but he plays so much better live than he ever did on a record, you know, that I never heard. And I went up to him after and said, "Hey, George, I'm a guitar player. Just started going to Berkeley. Just wanted to tell you, you know, you were amazing. Totally blew my mind." And he goes, "Oh yeah, you're a guitar player? Come on backstage and play my guitar." That was the first thing he said. And so I did. And he was really friendly to me. And actually, I actually. When he came to San Francisco after that, after I went back to San Francisco, I took him to my friend Dave Kramer's house. I don't know if you heard of Dave Kramer, but he was this amazing experimental guitar player. And George called Miles Davis and got Dave the gig with Miles to go play on the Corner record. That was in 1970, 71, later in 71. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I had it expanded on the Corner set. Amazing collection. But I saw Benson the weekend in LA. I was at that show at the Roxy.
It was at the Roxy, yeah, small place.
Yeah, one of my favorite venues back in the day. Saw so many great people.
It's like if you play in a Hollywood Bowl these days, or the Palladium or something. The Roxy's just a little place, right?
Yeah, 300 to 500 seater.
Yeah.
And he said he was recording it live for an album, so you know I screamed my head off and was trying to hear myself on the recording, but
kind of gets lost in the mix, huh?
Yeah, and kind of when On Broadway took off like it did, I think that kind of cemented him moving away from the guitar a bit. But
well, he's a great singer, you know. I mean, I like to sing too, you know. I mean, I've never had a hit like George, but you know, I mean, you know, we've got some good stuff, man. You know, on the records that I did an all vocal record with my band in Germany. Did you see any of that stuff?
Yeah,
and you know, we've got some new material too that we're going to do. Hopefully later. I don't know. It's probably too late this year, but maybe next year we're going to do another record with BBFC and the horn band, and yeah, I've got a bunch of new material too, a bunch of new and different stuff that I've been writing the last couple of years. So I'm hoping to do some new projects. You know, but these days you have to figure out how much music you can afford to make, because you know you're never going to make your money back. You know, so if you're going to budget 10 grand to do a record, you have to know that's 10 grand you can afford to just lose. You know. So it makes it a little.
What are you doing in terms of distribution? Are you pressing hard copies still, or are you just streaming, downloading? What?
Well, the place to sell hard copies is at gigs. So if you have enough gigs, the last gig I did with BBFC was in Germany. It's like 3 years ago already. But we played for like 4,500 people, and I sold like 500 CDs. No, not 500. I sold a little over 100 CDs, so a little over $1,000. But so you can actually make some money if you're playing some decent sized shows. People will show up for those autographed CDs afterwards. But that's the only place you're going to sell them. You're not going to sell any online anymore, or there's record stores are almost a thing of the past, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess possibly if someone's following you and you have them available on your website, maybe you'll sell a few. But
yeah, I mean, I've learned from experience that 1,000 independently produced and manufactured CDs make a coffee table.
That's learning the hard way.
Well, they're so cheap to make now. It makes sense it makes sense to have them. I mean, if I can get 1,000 CDs in jackets, which I prefer the jackets because they're a lot easier to carry. It costs you $1.25 a CD. So then if you sell them, you can sell them for $10. You can sell them for $7. It's $5 even. You'll still make money.
So tell us about your encounter and experience with Miles Davis.
Well, I was introduced to him by Julie Coryell. That was Larry Coryell's wife. She was kind of a social butterfly around town, and she introduced me, and then I spent the weekend up at her place she had with Larry up in Connecticut, and Miles was up there, and we sort of got to know each other. I had the guitar organizer that I played with the Brecker Brothers band, and I brought that up there, and he was impressed, and we made this little tape. It was amazing, and then afterwards on the way back, I drove him back to the city. He says, "Let's get a band." I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's." But he was in some health problems at that time, so I didn't get a call from him until like 2 years after that in 1981. And so we did they wanted to do some stuff. We did that Man with the Horn sessions, and I just wish all I can say is I wish I had done more. Because we were going to do that song. We were going to do the song that we came up with up at Larry and Julie's place, and I had made a little version of it, and we rented a special ARP Odyssey synthesizer to sort of duplicate the sound. And I wish I had done more with him because the stuff got weird, And I don't want to really air a lot of dirty laundry here, but I kind of got stabbed in the back on that gig, honestly. You can if you want to read the whole story, it's in my book. I don't really like to dwell on it because it's like 30 years ago already, almost, But I should have done more with him. I should have been with him for a few years, and then I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today. But that's the way it goes,
Did anyone seem to feel comfortable around Miles?
Yeah, he was a pretty funny guy in a lot of ways. He would fuck with you. He would fuck with people because he was Miles, because he liked to see how much shit he could get away with, and then he'd respect you more if you didn't let him get away with it. But he was a funny guy, though. He was really he was generous. He paid really well. He cooked dinner for the band over to his house. He cracked people up a lot. I mean, he was a very funny guy. He just, but complicated. I mean, he's a complicated dude. I mean, I think some people are comfortable around him. I think Marcus was pretty comfortable around him. Marcus just got right away that he was just like to goof on people. But I mean, I really don't know what to say. I mean, it was some weird shit went down. Is all I can say. I wish you can read the story in my book, or I could send you the chapters that are relevant if you want to. I tell the whole story in detail, what went down at those sessions, and I just wish it had been different because I would have loved to tour with him. I would have loved to do the stuff that I thought I was destined to do with him, but it didn't work out. And Mike Stern was brought in without even so much as saying anything to me. I was waiting to hear about when the next session was going to be, and so whatever.
Well, that's unfortunate, but
at least I'm out. At least I'm on the record. That's what people know me from a lot, But I didn't take a solo on that record. I didn't get, I didn't do a tenth of what I was capable of doing, And that's just the way it goes, I didn't think that was going to happen, but that's the way it happened.
And then from that point, did you play with any other big names, or did you kind of start going towards your own thing at that point?
Well, Miles was in '81, so I still had a few years left with the Crusaders, and then the Brecker Brothers were still doing things occasionally, but then when the Crusaders decided to just move elsewhere, then I had kind of some lean years in New York, and then finally I moved back here in '98. I did things here and there, but I had some bad years, I'm going to tell you. But I'm glad I'm still here anyway.
And you started developing an audience overseas, which we talked about a little bit early on. How did that start, and how did it gain momentum?
Well, just because a certain number of people do know me from the stuff with the Breckers and Crusaders and Miles and so forth, But I'm still not bankable. I'm still not considered bankable. It's really been a struggle for me to just get an agent that wants to book me. And I've got great material. I've got great stuff. But what Mike Stern does, for example, of course, he's a name already. But he always gets a name drummer, name bass player, name horn player to go out. And so it's like an all-star band. But he's been playing the same damn material for 10 years. Every time you go hear him, he's playing the same 10 tunes. For 10 years. And I like to keep changing stuff and doing different stuff. And I like having people that are rehearsed and play and don't just come together for one gig in one rehearsal and hit it. I prefer having a more organic thing. So, right now I've got a nice new band in Genoa, Italy, that I'm working with. Rhythm section's really good. And I've got the band in Germany that I hope to do some more stuff with. It's just that everything costs money, And I've got a limited amount of cash, and I can't really afford to bankroll everything,
Yeah, some of the stuff you sent me, I was very impressed with. Just the songwriting, the execution, some of the visuals and the videos, very nice.
Did you listen to the stuff on the SoundCloud page?
Yeah, the links you sent me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and I've got a lot more stuff, because I've got this rehearsal band. We meet almost every week here in the Bay Area, and I was trying to write a tune a week for a while, and so I wrote, 30 or 40 things in the past couple of years. They're not all good, but I've got enough stuff for at least 2 or 3 more records. Really.
So did you naturally gravitate towards mostly a kind of rock, blues, little big band flavor here and there kind of vibe, or how did that develop?
My trouble is I like to do all kinds of different stuff, I like to sing, and I also like to play, not straight ahead, but I like to play sort of what I would call contemporary jazz. It's got a little bit of fusion in it, but I don't like the word fusion, because fusion implies you're showing off chops all the time. I prefer to show off music, I prefer to be melodic melody and harmony and themes and so forth, I like to do a variety of stuff. In fact, we've got a new project that we're a little bit excited about. Me and my wife have written these songs over the last 10 years. We've been collecting them. And it's a completely different thing. We're not even going to put our names on it. It's called Sex Songs for Idiots. It's really some hilarious stuff. We've got 27 really short, stupid songs, and all different styles. And we brought in a few extra singers, but I'm singing on a lot of it. And it's just, I think it really has a chance to do something, especially if we can get some publicity. We're going to try to get it on the Howard Stern show. That's our goal. Yeah, it's really not jazzy at all. There's nothing jazzy about it. We got some country and western. We've got opera. We've got pop. I'm doing a takeoff on Frank Sinatra, New York, New York, except it's your something, which I can't say on the air. It's some pretty funny stuff, I have to tell you. But so I think you have a better chance selling stuff that would make people laugh than trying to sell something with musical depth and subtlety. Nobody's got time for musical depth and subtlety anymore. It's a very marginal audience. I saw a quote that Branford Marsalis said the other day. I thought it made a lot of sense. He said, "Don't be doing some unpopular shit and then get pissed off because it's not popular." I mean, playing jazz, quote unquote, any way you cut it, man, it's just not a popular style of music. It's not what most people are going to prefer. It's a niche audience. It's not for everybody. And the people that dig it might know you all over the world. I can walk into a jazz club anywhere in the world and they'll know who I am, but that doesn't translate into getting a booking that'll fly me in a band over there, or even fly me over there and to play with the house rhythm section. It just doesn't translate into that, So, I mean, that's why I'm putting myself over in Europe, is because I have a better chance of having some people that know and appreciate what I do than over here. It's like nothing, got nothing in Oakland, California right now. So.
Well, also, I mean, it seems like they've closed so many of the venues too that used to be able to showcase at least live a lot of that.
Well, here in Oakland we have Yoshi's, which is the one jazz club, but it's not really a jazz club anymore. They got hip hop, they got comedians, they got all kinds of stuff. They had to do that to make money, and then they had a Yoshi San Francisco, which closed now. And the big player in San Francisco is SF Jazz, which is like the San Francisco version of Jazz at Lincoln Center. It's publicly subsidized, member-sponsored jazz. And they have some good acts, but they have never given me a chance to play with my own band, not even once, And I know the guy that runs it. I know the top guy. And the same thing with the Monterey Festival. They just don't give me the time of day. So, I mean, I've got the music. It's sitting right here, and I'm capable of putting on a really high quality thing. But if they're not going to give me the chance to do it, what am I supposed to do? Same old sour grapes,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a printout of your discography here, and you've put out, about 10 albums or something with all of your...
Something like that. I could have done a lot more. It's just a matter of finance, I did my last two records, the Blues for Train and the Manhattan Sessions. We recorded in 2008, so it's 11 years ago already, in New York with Randy Brecker and Victor Bailey. Great records. They came off great. But I was only able to do that because my mom lent me 10 grand, and then the record with BBFC that came out in 2014. So it's been 5 years since I put out anything, and I'm getting ready to put out some new stuff because I've got a bunch of new material. I just have to figure a way to do it economically, and get it done, because you just have to, like I said, you have to figure out how much music can I afford to make. How much music can I afford to put out there without the guarantee of having any of it come back? Any of it, It's a pretty daunting situation, And I don't like to go crowdfunding or anything like that,
What would you, having been through all that and knowing what what would your advice be for someone just coming up today?
Don't expect to make any money. Do it because you love it, and that's it. Figure out another way to pay your bills, because we can't imagine how young cats go to New York these days and try to make it there, but they do, and some of them make it, whatever making it means. There's no long-term security in this business anymore, not even close. I've worked a lot of stuff. We've done a lot of different things in music. I've done Broadway shows. I've done, tuxedo club dates. I supported myself for like 9 or 10 years in New York, just mostly doing that. As the lead singer for a Tuxedo Society band, and hating every minute of it, because I thought I was an artist, and here I am just being a musical hack that comes and plays 4 hours of continuous music for drunk rich people. It's not, if there's room at the top, for the very top of the food chain, the Pat Metheny's, John Schofields, the Herbie Hancocks, Wynton Marsalis's, but everybody else is scrambling for crumbs, man. You know what the modern equivalent of a recording contract is? A teaching gig.
What?
But I still got some good music, and I'm optimistic. I'm going to put it down, and You know, maybe some people will like it. I'm sure there's some people will like it.
Well, no doubt if they're exposed to it, that's part
In
of
Europe,
the
if I'm in
challenge.
Europe, I have a better shot of getting picked up, yeah, by an agent or some kind of festival things or something. Because here, there's absolutely no chance. There's just no chance.
Looking back, Barry, is there one person or a couple people you would say had the biggest influence on you musically?
Well, I could say John Coltrane, Miles Davis. You know, I could say Dave Kramer, guitar player that showed me a lot when I was coming up. The guy that I told you about that I got the gig on the corner with Miles. I could say just a lot of people that I grew up with that influenced me in one way or another. Um, I have a lot of different influences. I listen to all different instruments, and I'm not really like other than George Benson, Jeff Beck. I'm really not that influenced by guitar players, particularly guitar players my own age. You know, um, I just I'm influenced by classical composers, Bartok, and Tchaikovsky and Beethoven, and there's just a world of music. You can pick whatever influences you want out of it.
What about a really unforgettable memory from the road, whether it was good or bad? What stands out?
Let's see. Well, there was this chick in Amsterdam one time. No, let me think. Well, God, there's so many. I mean, playing with BB King, I guess, was a highlight. My first time at going to Europe, playing at the Montreux Jazz Festival on the same bill as Miles with Cheeto Hamilton when I was 21. I don't know.
Was that your first time overseas?
Not overseas, but it was my first time in Europe.
Right, you had been to Hong Kong. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of great times. I remember being with the Crusaders. We were playing in San Diego, and we were playing at some outdoor venue. And I was playing a solo, and all of a sudden I looked up, and people were standing and applauding. I was so into it, I didn't even notice, that they were giving me a standing ovation in the middle of the solo. I said, "Wow, that was something." And next night we played in San Francisco, my hometown. My mom was there, and a lot of friends and family were there. Not family, but a lot of friends were there, and they didn't give me a solo the whole night.
Ugh.
That was kind of petty shit went down with that band. Because they didn't like me getting any attention. I never felt like that. There's a lot of bands. The Crusaders weren't so much like that, but there's a lot of band leaders that don't like anybody to get more applause than them. They don't want anybody on the bandstand playing better than them. And I don't feel that way. I want somebody to play better than me if they can. I want guys that'll just tear it up. That makes me look better. But a lot of people don't feel that way.
Was there ever like a mishap from the road that stands out?
Mishap? I can't really. Nah, I don't want to get personal. Too personal. I think I've already gotten too personal.
No, I mean like maybe your guitar didn't show up, or I don't know.
I can't really think of my guitar not showing up. One time Yamaha gave me this guitar, one of the Image Customs that I'm playing now, except it's not the same one because I put it in the Brecker Brothers. I was over there with the Breckers, and they put it in the truck. And when it got to the next place, I opened the case, and the thing had broken in half inside the case. And I had to explain to Yamaha this guitar they just gave me. I swear I didn't drop it. I didn't.
It sounds like that case a couple of years ago where the guy's guitar by United Airlines was broken in half, and
yeah, that shit happens. Yeah, I mean, I tried. Now I'm leaving 2 guitars in Europe, so I don't have to worry about flying the thing. It's really a luxury to not have to worry about what they're going to tell you with your guitar when you get on a flight.
So, anyone else of note that we haven't covered, Barry, that you've got the pleasure of playing with?
Well, I'm happy to still that Randy Brecker still calls me for a few things here, you know. I mean, you know, we got a gig in Camden, New Jersey on August 19th. I'm looking forward to. I wish there were more gigs, but Randy's like always out there working with somebody, you know. He's got so many sideman gigs, and it's much more of a hassle to be the band leader than it is to just show up and lead your horn and collect your money, you know. Um, I'm just hoping that, you know, that some things are going to start coming my way again, you know, as far as offers, invitations to play different places. I got people in Poland. We're talking about doing some stuff in France, in Spain, and in Italy too, of course. But we got a couple things set up in Italy. I'm going to Ghana in the end of October to play with these great guys, the Ghana Jazz Collective. You know, that should be fun.
Have you ever been to that part of the world?
I played there once there before. Yeah, great. You know, Ghana's kind of a third world country, but there's some great stuff there. You know, and you know, I'm just trying to keep it together, put some new stuff together.
Well, of course, I wish you all the luck in the world. Really appreciate you taking the time to share all this with Truth and Rhythm. And I want to make sure that you also share, you know, where people can find those books and your music and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, you can find the book is called Start. So it's a semi-autobiographical memoir. It's on Amazon, but and it's subtitled "Start Caution." Warning contains sex, jazz, drugs, and reality. And there's also an audiobook version, which is awesome. It's got sound effects and original songs in it, and I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, we spent way more money than I should have producing it, but it's a pretty good piece of work. And we're going to try, one of my projects I'm going to try to develop it into a screenplay and see if I can get some action on that somehow. Although my political chops are way beneath my musical chops. And then, you know, there's stuff on SoundCloud they can hear. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube if they care to look. My band BBFC's got that record out. It's a great record. You know, and I'm hoping to do some new stuff. That's all I can say.
Outstanding. Well, Barry, best of luck. Good luck with the move.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I hope some people look at this and get curious. You can find BarryFinnerty.com. I mean, SoundCloud.com /Barry-Finnerty is the SoundCloud page. You can listen to a bunch of stuff for free there for my latest stuff and the book. Check out the book. There's an ebook too. You can download it and read it on your iPad. And
of course, also the method books too.
Yeah, the method books. Yeah, they keep selling. We've sold over 10,000 of those. So that's pretty good over the years. Of course, the first one came out in 2005. So it's like, God, 14 years ago already. But they're out there.
All right. Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Scott. We'll talk to you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Hey, back at Truth and Rhythm headquarters. Thank you for joining us on another magical ride with Truth and Rhythm. Whether you're watching or listening, as always, thank you so much for your continued interest and support. Be sure to subscribe. Go to YouTube. Go to the Funk and Stuff channel. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives and breathes and thrives. Also, goodies here like TIR Quick Takes. And if you subscribe, you know what? You get the show before anyone else. It's free. If you love jazz, funk, R&B, soul, you can't miss it. Pass it along. Tell a friend. Tell family. This audience is growing, and it is a beautiful thing, all coming together for the love of this great music. Also, if you can throw us a buck or two, we could use the support financially, keeping the lights on, keeping the servers going, all these expenses. If you can help support the program, whatever you can give, much appreciated. Go to the funkandstuff.net website. And on the right-hand side of every page, you just click and you can donate through PayPal, credit card, whatever. Very easy to do and so much appreciated. And if you do a sizable donation, I will mention you on the program. Also, drop me a line. Email me at scottg@funkandstuff.net. Let me know who else you'd like to see on the show, what you enjoy about the music. Let's just kibitz and talk about stuff, you know, talk music. You'll find that I respond very quickly, and I much enjoy the rapport and the camaraderie and the interaction. Always remember, this is your show, The True Music Lover. So for now, that's all the time we have for this one. It's a wrap. as always, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.